Hello everyone. So recently a video went viral where we see Mr. Joe Biden walking down the platform to meet our Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, accompanied by the Prime Minister of Canada Mr. Justin Trudeau. So this video is actually a testimony of our warm relations with Canada and USA. So this video was actually captured during the G7 summit which recently held in Germany. So hello everyone and welcome back to our new episode of Topic of the Week Bulldoze, and today we are going to cover the 48th G7 summit and what are the highlights about the summit, why G7 is so important to us, and what are the other reasons that this summit has actually made the news. So let's get started. So recently at the 48th G7 summit, the Indian Prime Minister invited the G7 nations to tap into the huge market for the clean energy technologies emerging in our country. So this summit is important from the environment prospect because during this summit all the world leaders were present there and they discussed about the future prospects of environment and how we can level up the clean energy technology. Speaking of the clean energy technology, so this is a technology, or you can say a process, a product or service which gives negative environmental impacts, and it is currently promoted by all the emerging economies in the world. So even we talk about all the renewable sources of energy you are currently hearing out. For example, we have wind energy, solar energy, even biomass, hydropower, geothermal. All these energies are nothing but the umbrella, or these are counted under the umbrella of clean energy technology. India is particularly well placed to become a global leader in the renewable batteries and green hydrogen. And currently it is, of course, everyone knows about it, that India has achieved 40% energy capacity from the non-fossil sources and 10% ethanol blending in petrol. And we are currently the world's fully first solar power operated airports we do have in our country. And also we are one of the largest energy producing countries in the world from the renewable sources of energy. So even during this meeting, Indian Prime Minister has left no chance to boast about our achievements in this summit, and also promoting and encouraging other economies to kindly move forward in the clean energies. So during this summit, of course, this entire event was managed and conducted by German dignitaries, and Germany currently is holding the presidency of G7. So, however, India is not the member of G7, but still Indian Prime Minister was invited in this summit, and along with Indian Prime Minister, we had seen several other faces coming from different countries who attended the summit, such as Argentinian dignitaries, Indonesian, Senegal and South African dignitaries. They also seen attending this particular summit. So let us understand what is this G7 and what has made this bloc a major hit in the world. So G7 is an intergovernmental organization that was formed in 1975. So originally this particular bloc was actually formed by UK, France, Germany, Japan and USA in 1973 amidst the oil price crisis. As we know that 1970s internationally there were oil crisis going on, due to which these particular major blocs, they came together to talk about the macroeconomic issues going on during that decade. So which is why in 1973 for the first time this group was actually, it was actually formed. However, it was formed as an ad hoc basis by the finance ministers of these bloc, but later on, during the first summit of G7 when it was held in France, so back then in 1975, it was finally given a bloc shape, or finally given an intergovernmental organizational shape in 1975. However, as I discussed, India is not the member of G7, but it definitely intends to be the member of G7. So further, in 1975, France invited Italy during its first summit and proposed for the membership. So from 1975 onwards, it became G6 by including Italy. So during that decade, already there were many macroeconomic issues which were being catered by these major blocs, like Bretton Woods system collapse, we have oil crisis and the global recession during that time, which is why they needed another political phase to add up in this bloc, which will give them impetus in the world, in the macroeconomic world. So which is why in 1976, during the Prime Minister of Mr. Pierre Trudeau, they included Canada into this bloc, and from 1976 onwards, this G6 bloc became G7 by including Canada. However, in 1980s, this bloc actually talked beyond the macroeconomic variables. For example, they started discussing about, or even they started making some of the non-binding agreements about the international security and conflicts, especially between the Iran and Iraq, and even between the Soviet Union and Afghanistan. Even including Russia into this bloc was also in their talks during the 1990s, which finally summed up and concluded in 1998 by including Russia into this group. However, Russia has always been considered as an outlier because of its national wealth, and since Russia has never proved itself to be a complete democracy, which is why it has always been considered as an odd one out amongst the entire group. But in 2014, something happened which has led to the termination of membership of Russia. So due to the annexation of Crimean Peninsula by Russia, so that particular Crimean Peninsula is actually taken apart, or it is considered as a part of Ukraine, and Russia annexing it is considered brutal by the G7 bloc. So which is why that G8 bloc, which was formed in 1998 by the inclusion of Russia, has now come down to G7 again due to the termination of Russia. However, after 2014, several times Donald Trump, the former US president, has always tried to advocate the inclusion of Russia in the group again, but no other country has actually taken interest in taking back Russia's membership. So this was a brief about G7, and sometimes it is also taken parallelly to the D10 Strategy Forum. So this D10 Strategy Forum is actually an initiative by the US Department of State Policy Planning, dates back to 2008. So this exact D10 initiative, it was again picked up by the Atlantic Council, and they launched an initiative in 2014 to maintain a rule-based democratic order under the leadership of the 10 leading democracies. So these 10 leading democracies which formed the entire D10, and they are even currently being considered to form a part of G7 also. So they are Australia, Canada, France, Germany, India, Italy, Japan, South Korea, United Kingdom, United States and European Union. So currently European Union is a non-enumerated member of G7, but it's not a whole member of the G7, but yes, kind of an non-enumerated member. European Union is still a part of G7. However, if we talk about the South Korea or India, Australia, they are still the potential members or yet to be added in the G7. So this meeting, however, as we saw that Senegal, Argentina, even India, they were invited during the 48th summit to discuss about the emerging technologies and how we can actually cope up with this current climatic changes. So let us now quickly jump to the key highlights of the summit. So during the summit, the G7 leaders, they announced the collective mobilization of nearly $600 billion by 2027 under the PGII, which is the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, to deliver a game-changing and transparent infrastructure projects to all the middle income economies. So this particular project is of course yet to be planned and implemented, but yes, it is going to provide a world-class infrastructure to all the developing and middle class or middle income economies. Then second one, which is LIFE campaign. So LIFE stands for Lifestyle for Environment campaign, which is also highlighted by our Indian Prime Minister. So this particular campaign will be to encourage an eco-friendly lifestyle, which was promoted by Indian Prime Minister. Then third one, of course, we know that Ukraine and Russia crisis, their war is still going on, and all the world leaders, they actually stood against this crisis and they called for an immediate action to end this hostility and come to a common ground of diplomacy and peace. But however, let's see when it is all going to be wind up and when they are going to sign a peace accord. But yes, all the world leaders, they are against Russia right now and they want this to end soon, as it has already inflated the price of many natural resources by now. So this was a brief about the highlights of this summit. However, this summit was actually came into the limelight due to one more reason, and that is our Prime Minister's chosen gift to all the foreign dignitaries, which showcased the Indian culture and artistic traditions. So let's get started with some of the list and some of the gifts which our Prime Minister has offered to all the world leaders. So to Mr. Joe Biden, the US President, our Prime Minister chose the Gulabi Meenakari brooch and cufflink. So the brooch is for of course his lady, and the cufflink is for Mr. Joe Biden. So if you see the list of these gifts, so these gifts are the artifacts, or these are the artistic chosen gifts, and of course very thoughtful gifts which Prime Minister has chosen to give it to all the world leaders. So to Mr. Joe Biden, this Gulabi Meenakari is actually geographically indicated tag. It has also received the GI tag from Varanasi, UP. And of course, Varanasi is the constituent seat of Mr. Modi as well. So this one is very special gift to be given to Mr. Joe Biden. Then the next one given to Mr. Olof Scholz is the metal Marodi-carving Matka. So this is actually got from the Moradabad, which is also called as the Peetal Nagari of India. It is also called as the brass city. So this Matka, as you can see, is actually carved from the brass. Then the third we have is actually a hand painted tea set which has been carved out from the Bulandshahr. So the unique thing about it is painted with metal paint in honor of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, which is being celebrated in 2022. Then next, Mr. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, he has actually got the Zardozi box. So Zardozi is derived from Zar, which is gold, and Dozi, which is stitching. So as you can see, these intricate stitching is actually gold plated, and because it contains the itras, so this box is actually highly ornamented. So along with this itras, there's one more thing which is important to remember, that even a bottle of garam masala has also been put in this box. So because the French people are always been so curious about Indian spices, so which is why a bottle of garam masala is also kept in this box. So this particular box is of course carved from the Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Then next, Mr. Justin Trudeau has got the hand-knotted carpet, which is exclusively from Jammu and Kashmir. So these carpets from J&K are famous worldwide. Then next, Mr. Fumio Kishida, who is Japanese Prime Minister. So he has got the black pottery from Nizamabad, Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh, because Uttar Pradesh is rich in this artistic tradition, and even because of their one district, one variety scheme, which is a particular scheme which gives more importance to their artistic tradition in each district. So these gifts are actually chosen to promote these, of course, to promote these traditions, to promote these culture worldwide. And even during the Quad Summit also, our Prime Minister has given such intricate gifts to the Quad leaders also. So then next we have the Italian Prime Minister Mr. Mario Draghi. A marble inlay tabletop which has its roots from Agra has been given. Then to this special gift to the Indonesian Prime Minister Mr. Joko Widodo, as Indonesian history serves itself, or they actually have an enduring history from the Ramayana, and even there is an Indonesian version of Ramayana which was written during the Medang kingdom in the 11th century. So Mr. Modi has chosen this lacquerware Ram Darbar gift, which is actually got its roots from Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. So this lacquerware technique is GI tagged from Varanasi. So lacquerware, it's lakh or lakshagray, you must have heard in Mahabharat. So lakh se bana hua Ram Darbar, we can simply put, and the Golan wood is being used in this particular Ram Darbar. So this one is most special. I think it must have been close to Mr. Modi's heart when he was choosing a appropriate gift for a particular nation. Then next, again noting that the technique of hand weaving is actually passed down from generations from mother to daughter in Senegal. Mr. Modi has chosen the moonj baskets and cotton daris for Senegal president. So in Senegal, obviously the techniques are passed down from the mother to daughter, and even in Senegal there is a history and there is a legacy of ruling a family or family businesses by women. So even the moonj baskets and cotton daris in Prayagraj, Amethi districts, they are woven by the females in these areas which are running their families. So this one is for the Senegal president, Mr. Macky Sall. And last but not the least, the Argentinian and South African dignitaries, they have got the Dokra artifacts. So Dokra artifacts, they are non-ferrous metal casting art which uses the low wax casting technique, and they have been in India for over 4,000 years now, and these products are basically hailed from the Bastar, Chhattisgarh. So these are all good number of artifacts which we saw, and of course you also got to know about these important traditions hailing from different districts of our country. So of course, which is why we say, India is a diverse country, it is rich in the culture, it is rich in tradition. So which actually our Prime Minister has tried to showcase by giving these gifts to all the world leaders. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please do share this video to all the other aspirants also, so that they also get benefit out of it. And don't forget to hit the bell icon. So this is Nitika signing off for today. Thank you so much. So we'll meet next week with some more interesting videos and content. Thank you so much, everyone.